Mark Barlow with the mark out. So, what I wanted to talk to you guys about was one of the greatest legends in wrestling history, Bruno Sammartino. Now, he died recently, as we all know. If you saw Monday Night Raw or SmackDown, you saw that, well, they tribute more on Raw, because they had the 10 bells that rang for him, but they also did the little thing at the beginning of SmackDown. But there was a documentary actually on him on the network that I watched, and I wrote some notes on it. It's definitely worth watching, because he's one of those wrestlers that helped pave the way for the Golden Era, what I like to refer to as, Roddy Piper, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, all those guys. That's when wrestling, like around WrestleMania 1, that's when WWFE, whatever you call it, started to become what wrestling is, and then of course you got AWA was still around, and then WCW started, World Championship Wrestling became WCW. But anyway, so back starts out, and then also, if you want to cry at the beginning of this, it'll move you, because this is Nazis in Italy came, and then they were shaken up real bad. His mother, Bruno Sammartino's mother, actually sacrificed her, so she got shot in the arm trying to get him and his sister food. It's just like you're watching him talk about it, and you're like, God, man. So, he's a legend that almost wasn't, as they said in the beginning. Then he came to America because his father was working in Pittsburgh, and then he started working out in wrestling. And because he was a real skinny guy, he got beat up a bunch. But then he started to get bigger and stronger and stuff. And then he started making money for his family by wrestling. And then, actually, if you go back and you see who inducted him into the WWE Hall of Fame, it was actually Arnold Schwarzenegger. But, Vince Sr., said that Sammartino wouldn't be in the locker room getting ready. He'd be out there watching, be looking at all the other wrestlers and honing his own craft, thinking of what he would do to be either like them or different. But it was the arrival of the Italian Samson, apparently, in Toronto. He went up there into Canada, and it was starting to sell out all over Canada. People were just like flocking to see him. And this wasn't even America. And then he came back to America. The God in Madison Square Garden sold out 20,000 people. And his entrance music, as they said, was everybody just saying Bruno. And like that, it just gives me goosebumps thinking about that, man. Just like, all these people here to see one guy. But then again, you gotta think about it. He's Italian, New York. It makes sense to me. But yeah, it just blows my mind, And yeah, he beat Buddy Rogers in front of 20,000 people, winning the World Championship. And then when, I saw him, I see a lot of Rusev in him. It's like, I don't know, it's like, maybe it's just me, but when it crossed my mind when I was watching this. But, he helped also establish kayfabe, because, he would not drink alcohol around kids, he said. He wore suits in public to help, make it look distinguished, like he was the champion that carried the company. And he sold out worldwide. This was just not in America. Canada, Japan, Europe, all around the world. That's why he is the world champion, to really help make wrestling what wrestling is today. Even I didn't know this until I watched this documentary, that he is the legend, that's why he's Bruno the Legend. One of a kind, meeting big time celebrities, becoming a celebrity himself, you know. And then after having the title for 8 years, he started to hurt, you know. And then Ivan Koloff actually beat him. And then everyone was silent, like he thought that he had gone deaf or something, that his ears were ringing, but no, everybody was silent in that arena when he lost. And it was just like, what? Then he finally got to go home and spend time with his family, you know, because he was actually a really good family guy through and through. He was like, he just was wrestling so much and making money for his family, but he got to actually spend time off, you know. And then he beat Stasiak, you know, Planet Stasiak, his father. And he became a 2-time world champ at that time. And then he held it for 4 years. He didn't even mean to hold it for that long. Apparently, he was only supposed to hold it for a year. Then some other guy was supposed to, like, start getting good, moving up, and then beat him. But, you know, he just had what it was, you know. And then he broke his neck, actually, in a botched maneuver. And then Billy Graham took it off of him. But I don't think it was Billy Graham that botched the maneuver, but it was dropped on his neck. I think it was Greg Valentine, I want to say. If you go back and watch the documentary, you'll find out. It's a 45-minute documentary on WWE Network. But they also have that package that I was talking about last time that has all of these matches. But and then he finally retired. And that was actually when, like, he retired as soon as guys like Hogan and Piper and stuff were coming up and becoming the big wrestlers. He walked away from the industry in 1988. And he was actually really turned off of wrestling because of what had happened in, you know, the Attitude Era. Because it was like, because he was like a real purist family guy. You know, and it's like, to see all this stuff like, you know, Stone Cold and Triple H, you know, and stuff, like, it was like, really turned him off to wrestling. But then Triple H called him one day, I was like, Bruno, you know, watch wrestling and see what we've done nowadays. It's like, because of the PG era, actually, Bruno Sammartino got inducted. Because, like, he might not have been inducted until coming up next year, in 2019, if it hadn't been for Triple H calling him and talking to him. But yeah. But after that, like, what was like the last 2 minutes, that song Glory Days, you know, just like, just reminded me of that. Oh yeah, just a synopsis, I guess, of the thing I watched, the documentary. Yeah, but Bruno is uno, as the poster says. So, I've been Mark Barlow with the Mark Out, and I hope you enjoyed this little trip down memory lane. But yeah, that was the legend. That's Bruno Sammartino. Is this reversed? I can't see. It might be reversed. But Bruno, the legend. Alright, I'll see you guys next time. Not so. We're finally getting ready to go to Saudi Arabia for the greatest Royal Rumble ever. Take care, guys.